Hello, everybody, and welcome to Overcast. This is the 46th episode of Overcast. So glad you could be here. Remember that you can always follow us on Twitter at Overcast Show. You can also go to our website, which is our new website, overcast.frozenfoxmedia.com. Head over to frozenfoxmedia.com itself for information about this and all the other shows that we have to offer. Head over to our Facebook page and give us a like there. If you're watching the YouTube version of this, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. You can never miss an episode there. Also, if you're listening to the audio version, thank you very much as well. And you can listen to it on iTunes, Stitcher, and also Google Play Music, or any other device of your choice. Just subscribe to our feed. So, the formalities are out of the way. Thank you all for joining us. And look, we have a full crew. We have the full crew here today. So, Ova, Sawfty, good to have you back. Talk some Overwatch.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what I've been up to this week in the what have we been doing stuff. Getting used to the new changes to the game. There have been lots of changes. Not only that, I've also been plummeting my competitive rank. Now somewhere in like the mid to high 30s, I think. And
I'm right there with you.
It's just not a good slog through it. So I don't know. Sawfty, what have you been up to?
I've been up to a little bit of Overwatch, not a lot. A lot of Legion, World of Warcraft Legion.
It is a big time.
You know,
It is a big time.
It is
for
a
that.
big time. It's very exciting. A lot of work, and that's about it this week. Over.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of work last week, so didn't get to play a ton of Overwatch, but I did jump into the PTR a little bit. Got to test out some of the new stuff that we'll be talking about today. Playing some Heroes and Hearthstone, so I've been gravitating towards those three games. Then once Legion comes out, it's going to be a big switch to playing that all the time. So
It's going to be busy times for all of us.
exactly.
So you got to scope out my new to-be hometown, which is
I did.
Denver. So what did you think about it?
It's a cool little city. When you fly in, I didn't think I was in the right city because you kind of land in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, airport's just like way out there.
Yeah, it's kind of 30, 40 minutes away in farmland out in Colorado. But
Yep.
no, the city's great. It's right by the mountains there, and lots of good places to eat, and not too crowded of a city. So I liked it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, definitely looking forward to being out there. It'll be a little bit of a move, but it's not as bad.
You
Which is
always want to
little
learn in
frustrating for
competitive
me.
play.
They want to learn in the fire, apparently.
Yes, learn in
Yeah.
fire.
And it burns everyone else up.
And I do think her skill floor is a little higher than others in terms of if you're going to be a solo healer, it's a little bit tougher. So you need to pair her up with somebody.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I had those mixed emotions. But I do think that she is a little bit easier, like you mentioned, as a sniper to get into that type of class, playing it because it's a little bit more forgiving when you're at least targeting allies. Enemies, you have to be on point. So.
Yeah, that is true. What do you think about her damage boost?
I like it. I don't know. What do you guys think about it being only on one hero? A lot of the other alts span multiple heroes, so
That's what I thought, that the damage, it's cool that it boosts the damage. I think it should have either been like damage boost to everybody, or it should do some kind of like invulnerability to them too, because
It does.
the moment
the nano boost, you get 50% damage, 50% damage reduction, and 30% speed boost for 8 seconds. I mean,
it's
I
pretty
don't mean
good.
to disagree.
It's pretty good, but I think if you see somebody glowing blue, like you're gonna
Oh, yeah,
try to
they're
nuke
gonna
them
die.
immediately, you know. So that's
yeah.
It's kind of like you're gonna light them up, and you have to be ready to heal them intensely. I think because
I think maybe if it had been like, I mean, you could do it the way they did. I actually really like Nano Boost, but you could also do where it was, instead of the damage reduction and the movement speed, maybe like a 25% damage boost to the area instead. Maybe that's what would make that work for you guys. I actually really like it. If you're communicating with your team, if you're like talking really well, hey, I have my ult up. Oh, you have your ult up. You know, let's do this. Genji's a good example. I love to use that. Bastion, not that he needs it. So I actually really like the ability, especially because the 50% damage reduction really helps protect against, and then you have 30% increased movement speed, which is going to move you around the battlefield even quicker. So I like it.
I really like her grenade though, because like you not only do you have your sniper healing, but you have like AoE healing, and all that. So if it's like having a 76, you know, you just throw your grenade down, heal.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the big thing with me is that while you have to play like sniper, gonna hang back in the distance, you have to get to your sight lines. You can't like zoom up to them. There's no mobility like climbing a wall or, you know, grappling up to it. So I think that makes it a little bit, I don't know if that maybe balances it out, because she has like so much versatility, and so they're like, we're gonna give her a little bit of a, you know, mobility penalty, which I said last week on the show. I thought it was funny that in her intro, she's up on top of that bridge on Temple of Anubis that she wouldn't be able to get up on top of.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, a little bit misleading there, but you'll never find yourself up there, probably.
I'd also like to spend a little time learning how she best pairs with not only maps. So I think just initially, I think she'll be better on control maps where she can stay back, be protected, heal the team, and do damage. So I think she'll be a little bit better there. And then in terms of her ult, that nano boost, what heroes does it pair really well with? I know Jeff Kaplan was talking about, he really likes it with tanks. They really like it with tanks.
Yeah.
But I'd be excited to see how people use her with, you know, like you mentioned, any of those top core damage heroes, bastions, or, you know, soldiers, things like that. So
Yeah. And I think, do you think that she needs to be paired with another support? Or do you think she can hold her own healing wise?
Paired.
I think she needs to be paired. I haven't played too much of her.
I agree.
But yeah.
She's a lot like the damage heroes. I mean, she can heal, but you don't want her to be your only source of healing. I think it's much better to have her with a Lucio who can AoE heal, or a Mercy. I think that makes it a lot better.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, even with the changes that we'll talk about in a minute with like Zenyatta, you could probably like throw him in there now with his efficiency that he has now. So with that, why don't we just jump into the patch notes? We got a wonderful long patch this week.
Yeah,
a lot to talk about.
Let's go into that. So obviously, first thing, big up Anna. She's live. She's not in the PTR anymore. She's out there to play. You can use her in quick match and in competitive mode. So go out there, enjoy her, have fun. And we'll get into a little bit more detail about her later.
Yep.
Spotlighting her, but let's talk a little bit about the updates. So general updates. Let's start talking about competitive play. So competitive play matches can now only have one of each hero per team. So no more doubling up on the Reinhardts or Tracers, Winstons, nothing like that.
You don't want the goggles and glasses combo?
I'm very happy. I like this.
So I have mixed reviews on this as well.
Such negative Nancy.
No, I don't know. I need to play a little bit more of it, but
Yeah.
I think where initially I was running into trouble was if somebody is, again, less proficient or less comfortable with the hero, and they won't swap off, it hurts you a little bit. You can't just pick up that hero. Let's say you need to fill that healer role, and somebody isn't playing that healer role well. You can't just go back and pick another Lucio to help you. So
Yeah.
Well,
it'll be
I
interesting.
think I have a solution to that.
What's that?
If you don't know how to play the class you're playing, don't play it in competitive mode. If you don't know how to play, don't play in competitive mode.
Fair
And
enough.
I mean that reasonably. I don't mean you have to be perfect, but
Yeah.
I feel like we're blaming this. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it's really on the onus of the person that doesn't know how to play Lucio. Which, come on, Lucio.
But I do like this though. All in all, I do like this change. You won't be there's less things to consider whenever you're at that sudden death, or you know that you can't have 4 Winstons coming in at you, and you don't have any Reapers to counter it or whatever. So
Yeah.
I do like that aspect of it.
I think, and this has been alluded to with the Jeff Kaplan video and other places, that this really feeds into like the higher end competitive play, especially the esports part, because like think of heroes, for example. Like heroes, you only get to pick one hero of each, of course,
Right.
Yep.
and even that you only get one like in the whole game, so it even becomes even more critical. I think that would have been going a little bit too far with Overwatch, and in the highest echelons of competitive play, I think what'll happen is eventually as the meta kind of fluctuates and heroes get balanced, this will open up to where you'll have those moments kind of like you do with the heroes match, where you have like kind of your core set of heroes that are kind of like in every match, but then you're like, oh, here comes like I don't know, this Ana player that Ana's maybe not like the greatest, or you see them in every match, but they're really good at Ana, or this situationally they're going to be really good with this composition, and it'll make the interesting matches. But at the same time, at the very beginning, I was like, no way, this is like the worst decision ever, and I was all against it at the beginning, and I kind of, I don't know, maybe it's Jeff's beard or what, but I've kind of come to, soften up about the whole thing.
You're going softy on it.
I'm going softy on it.
So that's the big competitive play change. For quick play, you can choose 6 Tracers. It's the way it was. So
Yep.
that's only changing in competitive. In terms of general gameplay, some tweaks to how overtime works. So if a match goes into overtime for more than 20 seconds, that fuse will now start to burn down more quickly. And players now respawn more slowly during overtime. So that means that your spawn time is now increased by about 2 seconds.
Yeah, this will get rid of that like zerging to keep the meter up if your like team got killed. So I don't know. I think it's fine. You don't have like the infinite overtime anymore either, which is good.
Right.
Where it's like it burns down to
God.
the end, and then somebody jumps on the point, and it
Yep.
resets, and then they die, and then somebody else jumps in, and it just keeps going forever.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Yeah.
The game will probably have a more finite ending time.
Yeah. Let's hope.
So let's move on to hero balance updates, and there's quite a long list here. So I'll start off by talking a little bit about Bastion. So Bastion in tank form, his ultimate cost is increased by 10%. So take a little bit longer to get that ultimate, as well as Lucio, his sound barrier, ultimate cost is increased by 10%.
Yeah, you see that a lot of characters with this patch.
Yeah,
a lot of people having the ultimate cost increased.
You're
Except for Diva.
You're going to see a lot of this happen because what they did is they adjusted the self-healing abilities so that they charged the ultimate abilities. So
Correct.
everybody that has a self-heal, you'll see an adjustment just to kind of compensate for the amount of self-healing they estimate they'll do. This is especially prevalent when I talk about Roadhog later.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then let's talk a little bit about Diva. So big change is that defense matrix. So first of all, the cooldown's decreased from 10 second to 1 second.
1 second.
1 second.
But
It is now on your, I believe it's the E key. So you have it's a charge meter. So that meter will, once you've used it and it's charging back up, you can use it at any point. But once you're depleted, then it has to charge again. So that's where that balance comes in.
Yeah, it's defaulted to alternate. It's classified as an alternate fire now, so it's right mouse button default.
That's correct. And at full charge, that defense matrix will last for 4 seconds, and will remain active as long as you hold that down. So I mentioned, right, it's fully charged, you hold it in, and it'll last for 4 seconds.
Yeah, we I don't know what the resource is still. I think I talked about that part last week, but I think that her resource is just like Mountain Dew and Doritos. So
Holy power!
It just needs it needs to be like a green bubbly bar.
Oh, that would be great.
What we need.
Yep. And her self-destruct got some changes here as well. So again, her ultimate cost decreased by 15%. So you can now use it a little bit more often, and the delay was reduced from 4 seconds to 3 seconds. And that explosion no longer damages D.Va. So I know I ran into that a lot. It's, you throw it in the middle of a control point, and you're scurrying to get away, and you can't get away all the time. So
yeah,
that's frustrating.
We've all been there.
A lot of the times you got to throw it into a place where it's hard for you to get out of too.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you get stuck on any kind of terrain or anything at all, it's like done.
Yeah, I think it's a great quality of life change for D.Va, playing her.
Yep.
And some of the general developer notes, they wanted to make her feel a little bit more powerful, and perform alongside the other tanks. So hopefully we'll see if more people pick her up, either in competitive or quick play.
Exactly. I'm going to pick up with McCree. So they altered the Peacekeeper again, and it has full damage now at longer distances, but at extreme range, it finally has the fall off. So there was McCree was the tank killer. McCree was the, couldn't kill anybody, and now they're kind of trying to bring him back because he's got this powerful pistol that you can't deny.
Yep.
So
he was great at sniping. I mean, I can't
imagine
tell
those old days.
Those good McCree players sniping from across a map.
Yep.
Yeah,
with a pistol.
Yeah, a little bit too much, right?
Yeah.
But I think this is going to bring it back a little bit more into line. I don't know if it'll be enough to bring him back to where he used to be, but I've been seeing him more now.
Shouldn't be there though, right? Like none of us want him to be where he used to be, though, right?
No, we don't want him back to where he used to be. But I've seen him more now. Like at least I don't know if it's more people just giving him a try. I don't know if it's people are feeling he's better, but I think that there might need to be some other tweak to kind of bring him back into full swing of. But also, I don't know if I want to see him in every single match like he used to be, too. So, because it used to be like, well, you got to have a McCree because you got to kill the tank, and it's like the easiest way. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's a good move to kind of just leave him where he is, and we'll play with it. How about we talk about Mercy? And this is the... So, last week I talked a little bit about some of the proposed patch notes. These are the final ones that made it. And this was sad. This is sad because... Now the developer notes seem like they're irrelevant for Mercy.
Yep.
So the staff damage boost was going to be increased to 50%. And then they X'd it out. Sure, gone. So now the only difference is now that it just doesn't stack with their Mercies. So the whole point, they said, the developers, was that they wanted you to be able to have to say, hey, why don't I use my damage boost and use that and actually help somebody out instead of pulling out your pistol. So I guess I'll be pulling out the blaster some more because no reason to damage boost hardly ever, it seems like. But Resurrect, the ultimate charge cost was increased by 30%. Well, that was to make sure that we weren't having the chain Mercy res like you would get. Because if you played an aggressive Mercy and you healed and you shot people, it was on cooldown all the time. It was done, res again. And so basically you were just resing on cooldown because you could res all the time. And your meter would charge so fast. So this slows down the resing. You're not going to have the crazy res every 2 seconds. And it'll make the game a little bit more stable, I think, with that. But they did give it a little bit of a buff so that Guardian Angel automatically will reset when you res, and also there's no more movement prevention when you're casting again. So a little bit of a trade-off. I agree that I was rezzing a lot, too much. But we'll see. I think you're just going to have to save your res for like the right moment, and I wonder if some mercies will probably just save it till it's like a play of the game or bust moment. Like I'm rezzing 4+ or nothing. You know, I'm going to wait till you all get nuked, and if there's not 4 of you dead, I'm not going to even bother rezzing you.
Yeah, I'm not healing anyone until you're all dead, then I'll res you.
Yeah, exactly.
I want that play of the game.
And I'll wrap up with the Roadhog from my part of this, and his ultimate cost was increased by 45%. That's basically just because his healing heals so much that, with the amount that it would charge his meter otherwise would be, you could just like heal yourself and then alt.
Yeah.
All right, Sawfty, I'll let you pick up a 76.
Yep, I'll pick up with my guy, Soldier 76. So heavy pulse rifle. The spread recovery is now going to start beginning after a short delay, not instantaneously. I think that's fine. That's not a big deal.
I think I alluded to this might be an answer to that macro thing we talked about a while back, and they said, yeah, this is a way to combat that without having to just say we're gonna go in and kill everybody off. We'll just fix it in game.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a fine change. That's not too bad. Then tactical visor, of course, ultimate increased by 10% because of the self healing. We all know how good soldier self healing is. So again, I don't think that's a big problem.
At least they didn't nerf the self healing.
I know, right? I love getting gold self-healing. Or gold healing on a soldier. All right, bigger one now is Zenyatta. Base shields increased by 50. Now they have 50 health and 150 shield. The primary weapon fire was decreased by 5 points to 40 from 45, and then the alternate fire weapon was increased from 35 to 40. So not a lot of change there. Orb of Discord and Orb of Harmony, the projectile speed has been increased from 30 to 120. Huge increase.
Since he's throwing balls, let's just call it miles per hour.
Yeah, MPH, I like that. 120 miles per hour.
We didn't get any kind of like unit on this. I don't know how fast things move in the game, so
no, me either.
120 miles an hour, that's pretty fast.
That is pretty fast. Transcendence. His movement speed is now doubled upon transcending. The healing amount is then increased from 200 to 300 per second. So that's a pretty significant boost all the way around. Again, the primary and alternate weapon fire is not a big deal. They were just adjusted slightly. No actual nerf or buff. But yeah, that's a pretty solid help there for Zenyatta, who I knew wasn't seeing a lot of play. I don't know. Do you guys think this will help? Will this get more Zenyatas in the game?
Ova, what do you think? I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with the developer notes. Part of that being that the sustained heroes, so soldier, if you alter something, you could kill somebody while in transcendence.
Yeah.
So I think that buff is warranted there. And those projectiles can be deadly. I mean, if there's a good Zenyatta, he could take out people pretty quick. You know, low health like Widowmaker standing around or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to see more Zenyatas in the game. We don't see too much of that.
I agree.
Or at least I don't.
I agree. I think the change will make it to where people who already play Zenyatta will love it, and it'll get more people in Zenyatta because you won't feel. I mean, 50 isn't a huge jump in health and shields, but it's still 50, and that's a little bit longer you can survive out there. And the
Transcendence, a considerable amount when you think about it.
Yeah, making Transcendence make a huge difference, like another 100 per second. That's massive, and I've seen people go into Transcendence, like you said. They get mowed down because it just doesn't heal enough sometimes. Yep. And I think that was discouraging people because it was like, if my alt doesn't save people, then what's the point, Yep. So I think it'll bring more people into Zenyatta, or bring Zenyatta into more games at least. Where he'll end up in the ebb and flow of the meta, we'll see probably in the next week or so. So more people will talk about him, more blogs will go out, more games will be played.
So that wraps up the patch notes for this week. Let's jump into our next topic. More teasing about Sombra.
Yes.
So Sombra reveal at San Diego Comic-Con. And Frostee, do you want to talk a little bit about this one?
So I've been talking about like the fan theories, the tinfoil hatting that's been going on. It's been nuts. We don't know who Sombra is. pretty much everything that we thought could possibly have been Sombra is like not Sombra because it was actually Ana the whole time, just different skins even and stuff. All we really have at all, I think, to go off of is that one like newspaper picture, and it's just like her in the cape. So that's not a lot.
No.
And we got like the voice line that like Reaper says like, "Where's Sombra when you need her?" when you're there at Dorado. So if you watch the developer update this week with Jeff Kaplan, and then if you didn't like immediately turn it off when he stopped talking, and you saw like the little like end card, there was like a little flicker, and I remember seeing this and thinking like, "Huh, that's odd. I wonder why they added that in there." Well, apparently there was a reason why that was added in there. And that's because if you take it and you like cut out all the vertical bar codes and everything like that, run everything through hexadecimal numbers and binary, you'll get a QR code out of it. And the QR code translates to a Spanish phrase, which I'm not going to kill you with my horrible Spanish pronunciation. But essentially, it says, "Was that easy? Now that I have your attention, let's make things more difficult." So, yeah,
Hype.
I don't think anything is easy when you're trying to figure out, what's going on with Sombra. ¿Quién es Sombra? Like, that's all we know. So we know that sometime at San Diego Comic-Con this week, we're going to get something. Whatever it is, like, hopefully a full reveal. But who is Sombra? Like, what is she playing? Like, I feel like she's going to be with all this, like, hacking and stuff like that we're seeing, and tinfoil hatting of QR codes. Is she going to be like a hacker hero? Are we like bringing watchdogs into this, and she's going to be flying a drone, and that's how she takes people out? I don't know. Like, Ova, what do you think about this?
What if she could hack any enemy ultimate, and that would be her ult?
That'd be pretty awesome. What if she could like hack electronic things? So like Diva, she could hack Zenyatta and like mind control them.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
I thought of like her bust, like you said, we talked about it before the show. Like, what if she just busts out like a laptop?
Yeah.
And hacks somebody? I had two things came to mind. One was like Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty, and when you get when you get out the laptop in the middle of the thing to launch the missiles.
Yeah. Yep.
That and like in Perfect Dark back in the old day when you had like the laptop gun. I don't know. I'm probably dating myself, but that was one of the weapons in the game. It was like the laptop gun. Sawfty, I don't know. What do you think about Sombra? Who is she? Who is Kiana Sombra?
Tinfoil hat. I think this is our first rogue character. I think this is where we get something similar to the rogue in WoW or several other characters that we see. Not a sniper, but more of a rogue character. This is why she's been so hard to find. I know we kind of have Reaper, but he's much more in-your-face, big pistols. With the tinfoil hat, believe that we will have a rogue in the shadows type character.
You think we'll see stealth?
I really hope we see stealth.
That'd be pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty cool. Even if it was just like temporary stealth.
Yeah.
Like you kind of flank and then you stealth and then jump out and kill.
Yeah,
That'd be
imagine
pretty sweet.
Reaper's ability except you were invisible.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So there you go. We'll hopefully find out, and by next episode we'll know. We'll know who Sombra is. So until then, she'll remain in the shadows, literally.
Yeah.
And last thing.
Yeah, and a webcomic. Sawfty, you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
I do. This was the first in a new kind of webcomic that they released. It was like half machinima, half webcomic. It was actually really interesting because when you'd open it, it'd come with the starting scene and like some text, and then normally you just click on their webcomics and goes to the next part. Nope, that pauses it and opens you up to the main menu. So I kept having this issue where I play, menu, play. Eventually I found that there was a little sliver of an arrow on the very far right that found that. So anyways.
Pro tip for the future.
Yeah, pro tip. It was black on a black background. So anyways, so this is a webcomic to give kind of the background of Ana and a little bit of Widowmaker as well. Some lore background. it gives you kind of her mindset and where she's at, why she is doing more healing than killing these days. But it is half machinima, half webcomic. There's a lot of animations in it.
It's kind of like all the the Warcraft things where it's like
yes!
They call it 2.5D, but this seemed more like 1.5D.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Definitely wasn't 2.5D.
2.3D maybe.
Yeah, there you go, 2.1. So it was fine. It was interesting. I like the part about Widowmaker. That was cool. I mean, you'll have to read it for yourself, but it's definitely worth the read. I'm kind of wondering where you guys think they'll go, if they'll keep doing these machinima webcomics, if that's something they're going to implement. It definitely makes it more interesting. There's sound behind it. Instead of just reading on a computer screen like a Word document, it's actually happening in front of you, which I thought was really cool.
I think they're going to keep going this direction. They are doing it with Legion now.
Yep.
And so I think this is kind of like the new thing, and it's really cool. I mean, it looks really good, and it's a lot more immersive, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the announcement of the collection of all the comics that I can just buy a physical copy of them all.
Wouldn't that be great?
So.
I would love that.
So that does it for our news. How about our hero spotlight of Anna this week with the now that we have experience?
Hero spotlight.
Who better to do than Anna this week? All right, so we actually really kind of talked a lot about Anna already, but I'll just do a quick rundown. So Anna is obviously Farah's mother. Her name is Anna Amari. She is also Egyptian, and she is an elderly 60 years old. Anna's basic weapon is called the biotic rifle. It shoots darts that can either put a dot damage over time or a hot heals over time, depending if you hit an enemy or if you hit your own teammate. So even if you accidentally don't hit your enemy and hit your own teammate, at least there's still a benefit, which is what Ova had mentioned about being kind of a good starting spot for a sniper.
Anna is benefit to team.
Yes, she is. She's benefit no matter what. Her second ability is Sleep Dart, OP. It only does 5 damage, but for 5.5 seconds from her sidearm, it fires and stuns the enemy unconscious. 5.5 seconds. That's a really long time.
Yep.
If you have a tank anywhere near you, they're pretty much dead. I haven't seen many people ever get up from the Sleep Dart. Good communication, folks. That's what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Next is the biotic grenade, which we talked about. It's going to do a dot and a hot, heals enemies, I think, or heals allies to 100% health, and does 60 damage, which is a considerable amount. It only has a 10-second cooldown, and it lasts for 5 seconds. So that's pretty decent. Every 5 seconds, really, you're getting to do this, which is, again, seems pretty powerful. Lastly, as we mentioned, is her nano boost, which she picks a teammate. She gives them 50% increased damage, 50% damage reduction, and 30% increased movement. Again, communication. If somebody has an ult and you have this, it's pretty potent.
Yes.
Lasts for 8 seconds. So that's a really long time with those abilities. So that's Anna. Definitely, if you haven't given her a try, go try her out. Go do it.
Oh, yeah. And that Shrike skin, man, that's the one I'm going to get right there. I'm already going to buy it. So
I know there's finally a character that I don't have all the skins for.
There you go, yeah. Awesome. And I didn't see anything for Ask Overcast this week, so remember, if you have questions for the show, you can tweet at us. You can always just use the hashtag AskOvercast. We'll answer your questions on the show. So, shout-outs for the week. Do you have any shout-outs yourself, Sawfty, first of all?
Yeah, actually, I know this is weird. Sorry, guys, this is a WoW thing. I want to give a huge shout-out to our whole raid team that the 3 of us are a part of. I cannot wait to get back in the game with you guys. It has been way too long, and I got the itch right here, and I can't wait. So shout-out to all you guys. You have been awesome and so patient. Legion's finally coming. We can get back in the raid. That's my shout-out. Ova, how about you?
Yeah, I'll just give a shout out to all of our listeners out there. Thank you for continuing to listening and support the show.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks.
I'll give a shout out to one of my friends, and he's going to be a local friend when I move, and that's my friend Trackpad Gamer. You can find him on Twitter at Wolfwings. But his cool thing that he does is he goes and plays Overwatch with his trackpad. on
Really?
his laptop. So that's how he plays, and he is good with a trackpad.
That's
So
awesome.
I think he's better than me, honestly, with my mouse even. So.
Wow.
So go check it out. You can go on his Twitch channel. His Twitch name is Trackpad Gamer, and follow him on Twitter, like I said, at Wolfwings. Cool guy, and very friendly. So if you're ever in stream, he'll make you feel welcome. So there you go. And let's get to where you can find us on the web. Of course, I am Frosty Fox pretty much everywhere. Twitter, everything. So how about Ova? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter or on Twitch at Ovadrive CTR. Where can everybody find you, Sawfty?
You can find me on Twitter at Sawfty because somebody took Sawfty. That's where I'm at.
Yep. And they don't like giving those names up.
No.
And you can always find the show on Twitter at Overcast Show. And remember to go to our new blog page, which is overcast.frozenfoxmedia.com. FrozenFoxMedia.com is also where you can find about this and all the other shows that we have on the Frozen Fox Media Network, which is like the new thing because Frozen Fox Radio is gone now. Head over to our Facebook page. Go and like that. If you're watching the video version of this, thank you. And give us a thumbs up if you like it and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And also, if you're listening to the audio version, which we've had just a huge number of people listening to the audio version. It's just been exploding. And so I thank all of you for listening. You can do that on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, anywhere else. It's all awesome. So thank you very much. If you like us on any of those, make sure you give us a good review. We much appreciate it. That brings us to the end of the show. The 46th episode of Overcast is now in the books. So, for all of us, I'm Frosty.
I'm Ovadrive.
I'm Sawfty.
And we'll see you next week.
Job's done.
See ya.